Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
That was late. You're the one who's always here so early. This is very early for Paginated Report Bear.
I appreciate you getting up so early to talk to me.
Oh, no problem. Your schedule's very, very busy, so I know you're a busy man. So, hello everyone, Paginated Report Bear here. I am here with Adam Wilson, the Group Program Manager for the Power BI service. Welcome, Adam.
Thank you.
So I understand you're Canadian.
I am Canadian, yeah. I grew up in Eastern Canada.
Can you speak French?
I took 13 years of French, but I have to say I've lost all of my vocabulary.
Really? Oh, no, that's not. People get very upset from Quebec if you don't speak French, if I remember correctly.
That is true, and they get even more upset if you try speaking French and mangle it, so I don't recommend it.
Okay, so I'm very happy to have Adam here today, and not least because he is Paginated Report Bear's friend Chris's manager, so maybe you should have waited until after rewards review happened, but we'll do this anyway.
Well, this is the perfect time. It's right before the general availability of paginated reports, and I'm really excited. Sure you are too.
Whoa, that's a teaser. Teaser, yes, right before. So,
can I start with a pearl of advice?
We're already way off script, but please don't call me Paggy.
No?
Yes,
okay. What do you prefer?
Paginated Report Bear.
Paginated Report Bear. Well,
PRB.
So PRB. They could make a documentary about you. But I'll say, this is probably a very exciting time for you. You're probably at a high. You have such excitement in the community about paginated reports, huge usage growth.
Well,
right? People are stopping you to autograph you on the street, but I need to give you.
Well, they're not autographing me per se, but sure.
Well, I see an autograph right there.
That is not true.
But you need some advice because going from preview to general availability is a big change. Customers are going to rely on what you do. They're going to depend on it for their day-to-day, and expectations go up. And it can be bruising. It can be tough. There's some rough edges that you're going to discover. There's going to be lots of feedback from customers, and you just need to be prepared for it. And I thought, there's no better way to prepare you.
What is going on here? This interview is completely off script.
I just want to share with you, we had a mascot much the same as you in a similar situation back in 2014 as we did the preview of Power BI. The owl didn't have a great...
I remember the owl.
But, the owl also took quite a bruising in the period from preview to GA.
You realize we've been doing this with Paginated Reports for like 15 years. Right?
But still, Power BI users have high expectations. So I just want you to be aware that you need to be ready.
I would argue when the mascot was when the owl was the mascot, there weren't actually that many Power BI users. So.
There were plenty of users and very high expectations. Much the situation that you're in now. So I know you're going to do well.
I appreciate the feedback.
You need to be ready because users love your product and they're going to expect the world from it. And I know you're going to deliver along with the team, but there will be a few punches to get thrown.
Wow. Okay. So Adam has tried to throw me off stride here, but I appreciate the feedback. Thank you very much. I hopefully don't end up like that really sad-looking owl.
But the owl looks great now. This was just a temporary thing.
It looks pretty rough. Looks pretty rough. Okay. Well, all right. So getting back to my question, since the interview was supposed to be, you're supposed to be the interview subject here. So how did you get started on the Power BI team?
So I joined Power BI about 6 years ago. Really before we had launched the Power BI service. And I was really interested in making data available to everyone. And I joined as part of this project that was called Info Navigator at the time, which turned into Q&A. And the vision there was really enabling everyone to get answers from their data rather than just the people that could create reports themselves.
Q&A demos extremely well. Customers always enjoy the demo.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the magic of Q&A. People see the potential of it. The reality is that you need to do a lot of work at the data layer and the modeling layer to get the full value out of it. But everyone really sees that potential of letting every user, regardless of skill set, get answers to questions.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So you said you've been on the team 6 years. What's the biggest change you've seen in Power BI since you've joined?
I think...
besides the bear.
The growth in the community and... has been the biggest change. We've really focused on delivering innovation based on what our users are asking for, and it's been great just to see how much the community is engaged and grown alongside with us. We wouldn't be where we are today if it weren't for the thousands of people out there giving us feedback, helping to evangelize and grow Power BI in the organizations and make it successful.
No, that's very true. The community's been very, very excited. Over 300 some members of the community actually follow Paginated Report Bear on Twitter.
Oh, wow.
Including James Phillips and Arun and Amir.
That's fantastic.
Yes, it is. It's also very surprising they follow me on Twitter, but that's another conversation. So, what are some of the features you've worked on since you've been on the Power BI team?
So I started with Q&A, and then when we started to focus on releasing the Power BI service, I focused on a lot of the new user acquisition scenarios. So we revamped the way that users acquire the product with a simple 5 minutes to get started. It's called 5 minutes to wow, and that involved a simplified sign-up process in a way that users could easily build dashboards. So that was the first project I worked on. I then spent the next year focusing on building the community. We put out user voice as a way of tracking user votes. We launched our community at community.powerbi.com. We built out the partner ecosystem. So I did that, and then I joined the engineering team again to focus on leading the PM team for Power BI itself.
So that's very true. You are the GPM and you lead the team, and you have a lot of meetings that you go to in terms of understanding the different areas of the product.
You know what my favorite meetings are?
What is that?
The meetings with customers. I
agree.
I color code my calendar to make sure I have enough meetings with customers every day, because unless you are hearing what people are doing with the product, you're missing one of the most important pieces of feedback about what we can improve.
No, talking to customers is the most important part of being a product manager, absolutely. So actually, are there any feature decisions you wish you could do differently in your time here at Power BI?
I think that some of the biggest learnings we've had have been about how Power BI has evolved. We started as a tool that was rapidly adopted by business users, but over the last few years, we've become something that large enterprises depend on. And that's really changed the way that we need to think about innovation and how we deliver to our customers, giving organizations much more control over how the innovation gets to them. So that they can do it on their terms and aligned with the training they need to do in their own user communities. So we've really had to be more thoughtful, more intentional, and in many cases slower about how we plan and roll out changes so that organizations can adopt it successfully.
Yes, that's true. So I'm going to have a little fun with you here.
Yeah.
So I was looking at your Twitter feed, and interestingly enough, back in October of 2017, in your Twitter timeline, you're asked about a feature called Instant Email by one of the MVPs. You responded that the button showed up before the feature was ready to ship, but to stay tuned, it's coming soon.
Yeah.
So that was 2 years ago. When's it coming?
I think there's a PM on my team that actually shipped that. This guy called Chris. He did a great job showing that.
Yes.
It's interesting. When we first rolled out instant emails, when did you say that was?
October 2017.
2017. It's a good example of how the content messaging really matters. Instant emails was actually a really bad name for the feature. We put a button in that was called send email, and no one used it. We flighted it to some internal customers, and we got 12 clicks on the button over a week. But it wasn't until we went back and looked at how do users perceive this capability. And I'll give all the credit to Chris, a great PM work on this one. He really reframed it as a subscription feature. So users that had set up email subscriptions could send this now. And once it had been released with the send now capability, it got much more adoption.
Yeah, it's used quite a bit actually, and the developers on the Paginated Report team appreciate it quite a bit as they're testing the subscription functionality. So that's just me having a little fun with Adam. I happened to see it on his Twitter timeline. It's the only proof that I ever saw that actually made it out into the wild.
But it is a good example, though, that we do drive our decisions based on data. We did that initial instant email feature, and we didn't go ahead and release it as is because we got such little user traction with it. And in many respects, we are very careful about the features we release to make sure that they are going to get high usage. Because if we don't, you end up with a whole wide set of features that don't individually have a lot of usage, and that's a lot of maintenance work for the engineering team.
Yes,
so if we can really focus on delivering the features in a way that have the most impact to our customers, it lets us be the most efficient.
No, that's a very good point. People don't often think about the support costs for a feature going forward. Like once you release something, you're supporting it for a long, long time, and that can be a lot of work. If a feature doesn't get a lot of usage, the engineers tend to grumble quite a bit when they have to do a lot of support work on it. Okay, so what features actually surprised you in terms of how popular it's turned out to be in the service?
What is, I think the one The one that perennially surprises us is just the popularity of the export scenarios. We all like to think about Power BI as the nirvana for interactive data exploration. But the reality is, many customers want the data to use in other tools. There's this old adage in PM circles that said, the third most important feature you build in any product is export to Excel. And in many respects, it's true.
Yes.
So I'm always surprised at how highly used export to Excel is in Power BI. I think the really good thing about Power BI is that unlike many other visualization products, we have a much smarter export to Excel, and it's called Analyze in Excel. And rather than exporting a static copy of data, it gives you a live connection from a pivot table in Excel to your Power BI dataset, which means that you can go and refresh that pivot table, and so you always have the latest up-to-date data from a single source of truth.
Yes.
And this actually dovetails really well to a feature we just released called Power BI Shared Datasets, which lets you take those datasets and certify them centrally so that everyone can discover those authoritative sources of information and then use them from within Power BI, the service, desktop, and other tools like Analyze in Excel.
Did you know SQL Server Reporting Services has a feature called Shared Datasets? Have anyone ever told you that before?
I have heard it. I've heard that it's a little bit different in terms of its capabilities, but I'm sure it was built for many of the same reasons. Reuse is critically important, especially in large deployments.
Okay, so true or false, paginated reports is a key part of the long-term success of the Power BI service.
Absolutely true.
Okay, good.
Paggy, there's so many scenarios where the capabilities of paginated reports let users do what they need to do. Pixel perfect formatting across multiple pages, formatted exports, they're all really critical scenarios. And I'm glad that we have it as part of the service where it can be managed and governed in one unified way along with the rest of the Power BI reporting capabilities.
So, thank you. That takes a load off my shoulders. It
puts a weight on your shoulders, right? Look how much you have to deliver. This is going to be a big, important time.
Please don't touch me. So there are a lot of spirited discussions among the product team, and not everyone agrees all the time. And I know that you and some of the PMs have had these types of discussions, and you've had them yourself with Amir Nets. So in those discussions, what percentage of the time is Amir wrong?
In which discussion?
When you're debating him on a particular point.
It doesn't really matter right or wrong on the team. I mean, I think one thing that has made us so successful as a team is our ability to have conviction, to commit to decisions, but also to go back and look at where we did things that were right and where we did things that were wrong. And that's an important part of any culture.
Come on, 50%?
If we
I'll let you off the hook. Just let it go.
Success, we would lose the opportunity to fail magically, and sometimes failing is super.
All right, I'll let it go.
I've made many decisions that, in retrospect, ended up being wrong, but we all learn from them.
That's true. All right.
But the one thing about Amir is that he is right disproportionately a high amount of time. He has a huge amount of product vision. And we wouldn't be where we are today if it weren't for Amir.
Oh, brother. Okay. So the very politically correct answer there. Very well done. Very well done. That's how you made your success here. You know how to play the game better than us stuffed bears. Okay. So why should people come to MBAS? Let's end on that one.
Well, MBAS is the one opportunity a year where we get together the Power BI community with the Power BI engineering team. We're sending hundreds of engineers to MBAS, to Atlanta. And it's a great opportunity to learn about what's coming next, to network with others that are doing similar things at other organizations, and also to meet one-on-one with members of the product team, to ask questions and help solve some of the hard problems you're having with Power BI.
No, that's great. Yeah, maybe I'll be there as well. It's kind of an open secret, but yes, looking forward to seeing members of the community. Adam, this was great. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you spending your time this morning with me. And coming up next, I'll be interviewing Reese Schmidtke, one of the engineers on the Paginated Report team. Thank you very much.
Exciting.
Yes, thank you, Adam.
Bye.
Bye.